As all affectation is wrong and tends to expose and make a man ridiculous, so the more distant he is from the thing which he affects to appear, the stronger will the ridicule be which he excites, and the greater the inconveniences into which he runs himself thereby. How strangely absurd it is for a timorous person to procure a military post in order to keep himself out of danger, and to fancy a red coat the surest protection of cowardice. Yet there have been those who have purchased a commission to avoid being insulted, and have been so silly as to think courage was interwoven with a sash or tied up in a cockade. But it would not be amiss for such gentlemen to consider that it is not in the power of scarlet cloth to alter nature, and that, as it is expected a soldier should show himself a man of courage and intrepidity upon all proper occasions, they may by this means meet the disgrace they intended to avoid, and appear greater arses than they need to have done. However, it is not in point of fortitude only that people are liable to expose themselves by assuming a character to which they are not equal, but he who puts on a show of learning, of religion, of a superior capacity in any respect, or, in short, of any virtue or knowledge to which he has no proper claim, is, and will always be found to be, an arse in a lion's skin. The Fox and the Arse, Samuel Croxall. An arse who had dressed himself up in a lion's skin was mistaken by everybody for a lion, and there was a stampede of both herds and men, but presently the skin was whisked off by a gust of wind, and the arse stood exposed. And then the men all charged at him, and with sticks and cudgels gave him a sound drubbing. Caldecott. An arse who imagined his virtues neglected, and saw that his talents were little respected, supposing folks judged of his worth by his skin, resolved the first good one he saw to creep in. Soon after he found the fine coat of a lion. Oh, this, thought the arse, by all means I will try on, which at last he contrived to throw over his shoulders. Now, said he, with what awe shall I strike all beholders? Then he went to a pond to survey himself in it, and when he had stayed to adjust it a minute, had had the last look and felt sure it would do, to his neighbours he hasted to make his debut. Dear now, said the beast, how provoking it is, not a soul's to be seen such a fine day as this. I wish though it would not hang over one's eyes, I must try to procure one that's nearer my size. Just after he met a stray pig in the road, so he looked as terrific and fierce as he could, but instead of showing the smallest dismay, the pig only grunted and kept on his way. He next saw a fox, and to fright him the more, he tried when they met like a lion to roar. Ah, said Reynard, think not for a lion to pass, while you act like a donkey and bray like an arse. Vulgar people well dressed will be sure to be known, for the moment they speak, their vulgarity is shown. Townsend. A man is known by his words, as a tree is known by the fruit, and if we would be apprised of the nature and qualities of any one, let him but discourse, and he will speak them to us better than another can describe them. We may therefore perceive from this fable how proper it is for those to hold their tongues, who would not discover the shallowness of their understandings. Empty vessels make the greatest sound, and the deepest rivers are the most silent. The greatest noise is ever found where there is the least depth of water. It is a true observation that those who are the weakest in understanding and most slow of apprehension are generally the most precipitate in uttering their crude conceptions. Grave looks, an aspect of dignity, and a solemn deportment may sometimes deceive even an accurate observer, but wise discourse cannot be successfully counterfeited or assumed, and the sententious blockhead is as easily recognized as the pert coxcomb. It matters not what disguise one of these may assume. He utters himself and undeceives us. He brays and tells the whole company what he is. The arse in the lion's skin. Thomas Bewick. An arse, while feeding upon the coarse herbage by the edge of a wood, found a lion's skin, and putting it on, went in this disguise into the adjoining forests and pastures, and threw all the flocks and herds into the greatest consternation and dismay. At length, his master, who was in search of him, made his appearance, and the silly beast, entertaining the idea of frightening him also, capered forward with a terrific gait towards him. But the good man, seeing his long ears stick out, presently knew him, and with a stout cudgel made him sensible that notwithstanding his being dressed in a lion's skin, he was really no more than an arse. JBR Collection, The Fox and the Arse.